Hi everyone, welcome to JKK Reads and welcome to me trying to find my first read of 2026. Adriana's back here. Say hi, Adriana.
Hi.
She is, if you watched my last video or maybe 2 or 3 videos ago at this point, she is the purchaser of this camera. So everyone say thank you. Everyone say thank you. I have 10 books here that I think I want to be my first read of the year, whether because I've been super excited to read them, I think they're gonna be 5 stars, variety of reasons, and I'm trying to determine which one that's gonna be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something a little insane. I'm gonna read the first chapter of each of these books, figure out which one speaks to me, figure out which one I think has the best potential to have the greatest success, and I'm gonna read that book in this vlog, and you guys are going to see me read my first book of the year. How exciting. So the 10 books that I have are Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This is YA queer horror about a guy whose drawings come to life. I have Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. Thriller about an old woman who used to be a serial killer, and there is now a reporter looking into her past, and she has to get back into the biz, as it were. We have Trust of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I have considered this being my first book of the year for like 2 years now, because I really think I'm just gonna love this, and for some reason I just won't read it. I have such high expectations of this that I'm scared of it, but I think it's time. I have The Brightness Between Us by Elliot Schruffer. This is the sequel to The Darkness Outside Us, which is like one of my favorite books. Queer romance about astronauts. So I want to find out where they left off. Oh, but I am just now realizing that doing a dedicated vlog about a sequel might, I don't know how I feel about that. We'll find out. I have Florenzer by Phil Melanson. This is about, it's like historical fiction about queer people in Florence, Italy, and like all the problems they might run into there. I don't really know what this is about, but I'm trying to, one of my goals this year is I read a lot of queer romance. I'm trying to read more queer books that aren't specifically romances, and this is just like a historical fiction, so I want to read that. And then I have Honey Eater by Kathleen Jennings. She is the author of Fly Away. Not to trigger my good bitch Adriana back there, but she is the author of Fly Away, which is a book that I really love, and this is her newest release, so I need to get into this. I have Bad Gays, A Homosexual History by Hugh Lemmy and Ben Miller. This is a nonfiction about just gay people throughout history, and like the villains in history. So I think there are like tyrannical rulers in here, mobsters, like bad gays, you know? And then I have All of Us Murderers by KJ Charles. This is a mystery paranormal romance between homosexuals, I believe. And then I also have The Entanglement of Rival Wizards by Sarah Rosh, I think is how you say that name. Gay grad students studying magical arts, and it is enemies to lovers. And this is the Allurial edition, and it is just so cute. And finally, I have Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. Some sort of, I think it is like lightly apocalyptic, where like very unlikely, like statistically unlikely events are happening and the world is falling apart somehow and a woman is trying to navigate through it. It sounds fun. So those are the 10 books. I'm gonna get started reading the first chapter of each. I will let you know how it is going, and I will come back with a decision. Okay, so I started with Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. I decided also not to read full first chapters. I'm just gonna do the first 10 pages of each book. That way each book gets the same equal amount of pages. And also, fun fact about publishing, I don't work in the publishing industry, so not that I'm an expert or anything, but when authors are like querying books for like finding an agent will usually ask to see like the first 10 pages of the book. So I'm doing a little bit of like agent cosplay, like by reading these first 10 pages, you know? Anyway, I read the first 10 pages of Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. It starts out with Vera and I can't remember if she said wife or girlfriend, but her partner Annie. They're just getting ready for their day, and little bit of ominous things happen that kind of foreshadow the like unlikely nature of the events that are going to come. Vera finds a coin, like a penny on the ground that was minted or made. What's the word? Printed, minted, made, in her birth year. And she's talking about how she used to collect coins when she was a child. And for whatever coins that she wanted to keep, she put a yellow star on the coin. And then her wife turns the coin around and shows her that there's like an outline of like where there used to be a sticker on this coin. Sorry, is this weird? I'm just like holding my camera. And so obviously like coin she just finds on the ground, minted in her birth year, coin she used to own, like very, very unlikely event. So that's how those first 10 pages kick off, and I'm interested there. And then I continued with The Entanglement of Rival Wizards. Had absolutely no idea, completely forgot her name, but this author is the author of The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is like a queer holiday romance featuring like the King or the Prince of Christmas and the Prince of Halloween or some shit. Could not finish it, had to DNF it. I have concepts of finishing it sometime in the future, maybe this holiday season, but I absolutely did not like the writing in it. I did not find the writing in these first 10 pages to be bad per se, but after discovering that this is that author, I'm like, I don't think I can read this book. At least not as my first book of the year, because I already know that I don't like something from this author, so I'm not going to risk me thinking this is going to be a 5-star, you know? So, lucky day, moving up in the bracket, I'm going to read 2 more books, or I'm going to read 1 more book, and then pit that against lucky day, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of bracket style type beat. So I'll see you after I read 10 more pages of something. Okay, I've read the first 10 pages of All of Us Murderers. I don't think I'm going to go with this one. I enjoyed those pages. There are a lot of things to like. It's giving like lovers to rivals to lovers. I like the writing, but it is going to be gothic in nature, and I historically just do not like gothic books. I don't like books about old houses, old manors. I would like to find the book that really makes me feel that like turns that opinion around, like that makes me feel like I could be into gothic books, but I don't want to risk this being the one. So for now, Lucky Day is the choice. I still have 7 more books to get through. Okay, so I have just read 3 pages of Bad Gays, not 10. I'm not going to choose this, but I love it. I'm loving it already, and it's only been 3 pages. I can already tell there's going to be so much to learn here. I started with the introduction. It starts with talking about Oscar Wilde and sort of his history. I don't know how that's going to lead into the discussion of like bad gays and like sort of homosexual villains in history. I'm not sure how that's going to lead there. Don't particularly care because I'm loving the writing of this. It's using sort of modern language to talk about like historical figures. So it's talking about one of Oscar Wilde's lovers, and it just like calls him a twink, which is like not language that obviously would have been used back then. And I feel like oftentimes when there's sort of homosexuals in history type of stories, the language matches the time period, and so a lot of these things are sort of danced around. So I like how it's using modern language to describe these things. So I am just generally enjoying it, but I don't even really know why I included this in the like 10 books that I'm considering reading, because I don't really envision myself, just because I've never done it, sitting down and primarily reading a nonfiction book. I usually have a few books going at a time, where I have one book as my primary. I'm speaking like I'm polyamorous. One book is my primary, and this is the book that I'm putting most of my effort into reading, but if I'm not particularly in the mood for that, I might have something else going. And And then I usually also have a nonfiction going when I'm in the mood for it, but that is never the primary book that I'm sitting down and like reading for several hours at a time. I'm usually just like picking it up to read a chapter at a time or something like this. So I'm not gonna go with this for that reason, but I am going to be reading this like intentionally. This is going to be the nonfiction I'm getting into and having just like sort of in the background, if you will, of my reading. Because I just loved those first 3 pages, but it's not something, when I'm thinking my first book of the year, I want to have whatever book I choose to be my first book of the year, I want to have this shit read in like 3 days, right? I don't want it to be something I'm like dragging out for what could be a month or more. So this is not going to officially be my first book of the year, but I am going to continue reading it for sure. Okay, so I just read a bit of Honey Eater. I'm not going to choose this one, although I am enjoying this too, and I'm excited about my reading year because there's so many books that I am loving so far from these first 10 pages. I'm not going to choose this one though. So it seems like I should, because I've read from this author before and gave it a 5 stars. That was Fly Away. But the thing with that's a contentious 5 star because, sorry for the lighting also, like what's better, whatever. It was a contentious 5 star because I gave it a 5 star retroactively. After having read that book, I gave it a 4. And then the more I thought about it, as that was in 2022, I think, as the rest of that year went on, it's like a book that I couldn't get off my mind. And then when I was ordering those books from like worst to best, I had put it underneath, because it was a 4 star, obviously, so I put it under my 5 stars. And then I was looking at some of the other 5 stars, and I'm like, no, I liked Fly Away better than some of these books that I gave 5 stars. And it ended up being my number 6 book of the year. All that being said, I don't want to find myself in a situation again with this one where I don't immediately give it a 5 star. I don't want it to be something that I give 5 stars just because it sticks with me. I want it to be like, close that final page and be like, I fucking love that. And that's the thing with Kathleen Jennings' writing. This is why I love it so much, is because it's very haunting. So like, it makes sense for it to like stick with you. And to have that feeling be what gives you the 5 star, but I don't want something to be a 5 star because it gave me a lasting feeling. I want it to be a 5 star because I absolutely loved it in the moment. So I'm not gonna choose this one. That being said, it's giving me all those same feelings that Fly Away gave me. The writing is very haunting. The first chapter is less than 2 pages, and it's talking about this flood that happens in the town and how like everybody has a story about a flood, and it's sort of like this flood has a bit of like mythology in the town. And then after that first chapter is literally just this one page. It's called Graveyard Tag, and it's talking about a game that people play called Graveyard Tag. And I'll just read the last paragraph here. It says, the principal called a special assembly to stop us talking about ghosts, because what could he do? Once someone claimed they'd heard their name rasped at midnight beneath their bedroom window, everyone started hearing whispers. So the first chapter and this little vignette here are each like talking about just something within this town that everybody experiences and has a story about, and it's very like fairy tale-esque, and I love that. And that's what I love so much about Kathleen Jennings' writing. But I'm not gonna choose this as my first book for all the reasons I already described. So Lucky Day is still at the top right now. We very much have a contender. Yeah, we very much have a contender. Okay, so I think when I was talking about this book before and like pitching it as a potential first book, I said like just some guy moves to Florence. It is literally Leonardo da Vinci. Not some guy. It is Leonardo da Vinci. We are following him and 2 other historical figures that I don't know. One is Francesco Salviati, and the other is Lorenzo de' Medici. Apparently they're important in history. No idea who they are. But so Florence, I guess, in the 15th century, as I think I said, it was sort of a gay hotspot. Like, what does it say in the synopsis? Meanwhile, the city has become Europe's preeminent destination for gay men, or Florenzers, as they come to be crudely called. And that's the name of the book, is Florenzer. Also, can we appreciate the cover and how this, like, Italian monument is very much simulating a dick and balls in this imagery. So in the first 10 pages, we've met all three of these people, Leonardo, Francesco, and Lorenzo, and sort of got a sense for each of their positions in Florence, and their attitudes towards Florence. And we are already getting inklings of potential tensions between these three people and their attitudes towards each other and the city. Or they haven't met yet, but like based on their attitudes towards the city and what it represents, like I'm surmising attitudes towards each other that are to come. And I loved it. So I'm gonna have to give it some time. I'm not yet saying that I'm gonna choose this over Lucky Day. I need to give it some time. One, I have what, like 4 other books I need to try out. And then 2, like if it does come down to these 2, I need to give it like a few hours and see, I guess, which one I'm most excited to hop back into. And then that, I think, will determine it for me. But I'm jumping ahead because I still have 4 more books I need to try out. So I'm going to get into those. Okay, I have read the first chapter. It was like 11 pages of The Brightness Between Us. I did not want to stop. I'm absolutely loving it. I do have one flaw, but I can't, this is why I'm not choosing this book. I cannot talk about the flaw, never mind anything that was happening in the first chapter or how I feel about those things without spoiling the first book, because this is a sequel. So, like in the other books that I've talked about, the first 10 pages so far, I'm talking about, you know, what's going on, the setting, the characters, what they're talking about. I can't do this. I can't do any of that with this book because it spoils the first book. Just even the setting, like who the characters are and where they are at, even those details spoils the first book. So I can't talk about this book at all. So I'm not going to choose it. And I'm sad because I want to read it very, very bad. But maybe it'll be my second book of the year. Anyway. The search continues. Okay, I've just read the first chapter of Tress of the Emerald Sea. It was 6 pages. I'm really playing fast and loose with my requirement of what I read here, but whatever. I'm going based on vibes. I've read the first 6 pages, the first chapter. I love it. We have another contender here. It's either going to be this, Lucky Day, or Florenzer, depending on how these last 2 books go. It's just so whimsical. I love the voice of the narrator. The narrator is not the character. I don't know if that's just the first chapter, if it's going to change. But the person, or the narrator of the first chapter is not the main character. And the narrator's the narrator seems to realize that this takes place on a different planet. And the narrator realizes that we are readers reading from Earth. And so is pointing things out. And it's like funny. So it's Tress of the Emerald Sea. The Emerald Sea in question is not a sea at all. It is spores that are just so vast that, sorry, again, I'm holding the camera. It's spores that are just like so vast in quantity that they like are ocean-like in scale. And sailors sail on them like they sail on the ocean, and it says that. I can't find it. But it said something like, you shouldn't be surprised by this. How many planets have you visited? Perhaps your planet sailing on oceans of water is the weird one, and every other planet sails on oceans of spores. And it's like, it's funny, right? Like pointing out that like these expectations that we would have as readers, like the author expects us to think things and then like addresses those things, and it's like funny. And then there's another one in here. So like, again, the oceans are made of these spores, and these spores are dangerous if you breathe them in. But the only things that can stop like whatever malady happens if you breathe them in are salt and silver. And so it's talking about they teach their children this ever so important rule: salt and silver halt the killer. An acceptable little poem if you're the sort of barbarian who enjoys slant rhymes, because like silver and killer don't perfectly rhyme. And it's like, it's funny, okay? I'm not like saying it in a way that's super funny, but I promise it's funny. It's a funny first 6 pages. So I enjoyed that very much. Also a bit of lore about the book. Brandon Sanderson wrote it for his wife and never intended to publish it. Like, it was just supposed to be a gift for his wife. And then his wife read it and is like, this is incredible. Like, thank you so much for the gift, but you have to publish this. And so I just find that so, like, that's just such a lovely way to get a book, out there. It's like, to like, obviously not, because Brandon Sanderson is such like a big name in fantasy that I'm sure as he's writing he has a certain level of expectation, or he's writing with a certain level of like what his readers would expect, and that probably informs his writing a bit. And so to just write something genuinely for someone that you love with no intention of it being published, I imagine it's much more genuine than what he normally writes. So that's why I've been so excited to read this book and then just never have, because like I said, I'm scared. I have like such high expectation of it, so I'm scared. Anyway, this is a contender. I'm going to read 2 more first pages, and then I will come back with a decision. Well, no, I won't come back with a decision. I'll come back. Okay, I'm doing a joint update for the last 2 books because I was supposed to leave for my friend Angel's place 11 minutes ago. Because I need to be there at 8:30, but I'm not going to be. Sorry, Angel, if you're watching this. I read the first 10 pages of Too Old for This. It got me through 2 chapters. And I also read the first 10 pages, 11 pages actually, of Don't Let the Forest In. Too Old for This, I did not want to put down. I'm not going to choose it though, because I keep saying that. I'm not going to choose it because I'm just not sure where it can go. Like, the first 2 chapters were so exciting, and it's a long book. It's like 400 pages, and I just don't know where it's going to go to keep up that excitement, and I worry that I would just like end up being a 4-star. Like, start with a bang, not be able to keep it up, and be a 4-star. So I'm not going to choose that one, but I have concepts of doing a vlog with that and what's it called? The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre or something like that, because that's about a like killing spree massacre type beat at a retirement home where the main character is an old woman and she's like the final girl. So like, I just think it'd be so fun to do old woman is the serial killer, and then that one, old woman is the final girl. Like, I think that'd be so fun. So I'm not going to choose Too Old for This, but I am very excited to read it, hopefully soon. Don't Let the Forest In is now in the contenders list. It is now Don't Let the Forest In, Trust of the Emerald Sea, Lucky Day, and Florenzer. I thought these first 11 pages were fantastic. It has that sort of like, it's YA. Like, that's my like little bit of uncertainty is that it's YA. And I don't know if a YA is really going to do it for me right now, but there is like a little bit of gay yearning. It's like setting up sort of like horror, vibes. I don't know. I don't really feel like I have anything intelligent to say about it other than like, I just liked it. And that's going to just have to be good enough. So I don't know. I'm going to give these 4 books some thought. I'm going to bring them over to Angel's, and I'm going to let him and his man's Leo, I'm going to get their input. So I'll show you guys that too. But I have to go. Like RN. BRB. Just pulled up to the function.
We don't know.
Say hi, Angel.
Rick! Creature!
Wait, is it the camera?
Nathan made
It's one of
these
the
for
cameras
me.
Period.
Wait, who are you sending that to?
Who am I sending it to from a digital camera? Like,
He's vlogging.
Who are you vlogging to?
Hi, vlog!
well, you guys are gonna help me choose my first book of the year.
Oh,
yay!
Okay.
I bet you're all wondering why I brought you here today.
Well, I brought everyone here today because it's my home.
That's-
But why did you gather us here?
I don't think so.
I need you all to help me choose my first read of the year.
Chuck Tingle. Go ahead.
So here's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
You're all going to read the synopses of these 4 books, and you're gonna vote
Okay.
on which one you think.
You better
Get
vote.
started.
Already?
Angel has vetoed after just a couple sentences. Why?
we go.
Explain. to people.
Okay, literally the first sentence is of the synopsis is the only life Tress has known on her island home in an emerald green ocean has been a simple one.
Okay, well that was a lot of force you just threw my book down with, so not too much.
It's just not giving the give.
She paid for that.
Okay, Angel, what did you think and what is your vote?
Okay.
I fear we're gonna probably need to do ranked choice voting.
I have
Rank choice voting?
I have a rank.
I have ringers.
Okay,
I
hold on.
do too.
Let's go.
Okay. I wanted to ask, is there
Okay,
any that
you
you're
can ask
leaning
questions.
towards?
I don't know. Okay, so here's what happened. Here's some behind the scenes.
Yes.
Some lore.
Here's some behind the scenes. I read the first chapter of 10 books, and these were my 4 that I chose to continue with. They're all tied in my mind. But you know me, he always gets very upset about this. Whenever I ask somebody's opinion, it helps me decide what I want. And the way I like analogize this is like when you flip a coin to make a decision, you know what you want it to land on in the air. So like when they start picking, I might be like, no, I want you to pick this, but I don't know that yet.
Okay,
Genuinely.
so actually, are you gonna read what we all end up voting for?
Soft yes. Soft yes.
No, I understand.
You get it, right? You get it.
I
Okay.
hate it. Okay, fair enough.
It helps me. He gets so mad about it, but it genuinely helps me.
No, because this is what happens. He'll text me, he's like, what should I have for dinner? And I'm like, oh, like, you should maybe have this. He's like, no. And none of my suggestions better. He's like, actually, I already know what I want for dinner.
But no, I don't already know, because when he starts saying you want this, then I think like, no, I actually didn't want him to choose that.
Girl, just vote.
Okay.
Nina.
Ask your question.
Okay, so my ranking, this one, absolutely at the end.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my points out.
I just was not feeling
Okay,
Tress.
so you're giving her 1 point.
I was not
Okay.
feeling trash. She's like, oh, she's from this little town. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
My first is Chuck Tingle's Lucky Day, mostly because
Okay.
I want to read this.
Okay.
Like, that's very biased, and it's a really good synopsis.
Uh-huh.
This one seems like interesting historical fiction, and then it's this one just because I know it's queer, but they're in high school, and if they like do nasty stuff, it's like I don't want to read about 17-year-olds getting it on.
Okay, very woke of
Yeah.
you. Nathan?
Okay.
So,
Oh, purr.
So I'm gonna
It's the
put
hot seat.
last place. I'm also putting Tress.
Okay.
It was like
Tress.
she loves collecting cups or something.
Uh-huh.
They lost me.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna put this one next.
Okay.
Because I don't know. It seemed a little like. It would be one thing if they were like randos in historical fiction, but it's like, oh,
You don't like the idea of Leonardo DiCaprio being gay?
Well, no, I'm fine with that. It just
Da
feels
Vinci?
very like.
Leonardo
No, it was just like, oh, it's Leonardo da Vinci and a Medici guy, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. And then I'm gonna put this one, because it sounded like cool, and I like the green pages on it, and it sounded very like, I don't know how to put it.
Good.
It sounded good, yeah. But this one was by far the most interesting, and I also really love the cover.
Oh,
artwork.
look under the dust jacket.
Under the dust jacket.
Wait, did you get this on? Oh, you did get it on.
Ooh,
It's so pretty.
That is really cool.
Wait, should I show mine too, twinsies?
I think
This
they got
one,
it.
when I was like, I was
got
like,
that.
I want to read this book, so I think you should read this book.
It's 'cause
and
it's
then
about
lend
math,
it to
huh?
me.
It is
No,
about probability.
Well, I don't like probability math, but it just
Real.
seemed interesting.
Bit of me. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Next.
All right. Okay, where am I? Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the last book, and it's gonna be this one.
Okay. got
Even
you
though it's
boots.
green pages and it looks pretty, I just feel like this is very like book 3 vibes.
Oh.
You know? Like I feel like you don't open your year with this.
Oh, I thought you. Okay.
I feel
get
like
it.
you open your year with something like either something new or something like I don't know, like this. I feel like there's a lot of this out there,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay. 'Cause of all the
So
reading
my
you do.
second. Okay, I will say that my judging has been contaminated by his judging. The way that
It's your fault.
Because this is something I would like historical fiction already reach for, but that point with like that they're not randos, that it's just very.
I don't understand this note. Like, you want it to just be completely made up people?
Yeah, because it makes it easier to what's it called, to suspend disbelief if it's not a real person for me.
It's giving, like, in English class when somebody was like, oh, yeah, he lived alone his whole life with his best friend, like, refusing to believe that someone can be gay. That's what
To me, it's like Fortnite logic. It's like listen. It's like it can't just be like a rando. It has to be Leonardo da Vinci and
DiCaprio, mind you. DiCaprio.
DiCaprio.
You know what I'm
Oscar
saying?
winner.
Yeah, I do. I do know what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I don't know what you guys are
like,
saying.
It's like I think
in there. Why not?
You can't fully lean into historical fiction.
I think it's like, for
Because
example, if
you're-
they took John F. Kennedy and they're like, this was his life, like, we already know he's gonna get fucking shot. He's gonna get shot. So, like, oh, pfft. Like historical fiction, you already know that certain things happened. And sometimes when you have real figures, it's hard to suspend the fact that you know that, like,
Because of everything you guys know about Leonardo da Vinci's life?
That's not my point in this case.
so what is your point? I don't get it.
My point in this case is I'm like,
He wants them to not
does
be
it
real.
have to be him? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's meant to be a fictionalization of his life. So it
No,
kinda
I
has to be
get that,
him.
but I'm
Are you
just
saying
like,
like you like are having like problems with like the like character choices?
I know. I just
Itself.
feel like I should be interested in the book for what it is and not like name.
Oh, not
dropping
because
a
it's like not because of the person.
Yeah,
but because of-
When you want to write a fictionalization of somebody's life, do not mention their name. Anyway.
That's just a personal preference.
Wait, do you like fuck with Leonardo da Vinci? Is that like what you're telling us?
No, but like the book is clearly supposed to be about him, so I don't
Like,
get the
Titanic was kind
no.
of bad. I'm not gonna lie, so I don't know.
Did you just want to pick something gay?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, this one is famously written by a Mormon, so this is not gay.
Oh,
then
why did you say
pick it.
Two
that?
of them are gay. I don't. Lucky. It was Lucky.
So
gay?
that's definitely why.
Leo, finish
No,
your
yeah,
ranking.
Lucky. No, that one's.
These
gay.
are the same to me.
No.
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 Okay. It's this.
Okay.
It's this.
Why did you pick that one first? The Lucky Day.
Lucky Day, because it's about probability, and I love probability, and it's definitely. I don't know. I kind of wanted to start reading it after I read the thing. So
Swag. Evan, get over there.
Okay. This is gonna be funny because mine's like slightly different. I fear than.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
you like Tumblr, that's why.
Right.
I feel like that like this one for sure is gonna be last.
Okay, because of the Mormonism of it all.
No, it just gave nothing. There was nothing in the synopsis.
The first
It had-
chapter was really good. but-
Great, they should have included that in the synopsis, which gave literally nothing at all.
Okay.
My second one. Okay, insane hot take. I'm putting this one as third.
Okay.
Personally, for me.
Okay.
Um,
And why is that?
I'm not a big fan of Vegas, and I don't like the idea of
Oh.
like probability. That's just not really my thing.
Okay.
So
because
for,
you don't understand it.
right,
Okay,
right.
okay.
So again, stupid.
Right,
I did
okay.
liberal arts,
Got it,
so
got it.
it's not my forte, but I understand the appeal.
Okay.
I would put this one at second.
Okay.
I kind of enjoyed the historical aspect of it, but I was kind of confused as to like why it was there.
Because you know so much about Leonardo da Vinci.
I'm confused about why the historical fiction of it all was there when it's set in the 1600s or 1400s.
Right. Well, again.
Why is a historical fiction about Leonardo da Vinci set in a historical setting and about Leonardo da Vinci?
So maybe at the end of the day, maybe what it really is I don't feel that interested in historical fiction. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though, for me, a large compelling factor was that it mentioned Catholicism, and I think that's a really fun thing to write about. Personally.
Oh my god, we get it. You're queer, and it's hard to do.
And then I wrote this one at first.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I was like, I loved 2013. It was a great year to be alive.
Right.
I do think also though, I don't know. It like I thought it sounded like a kind of sweet love story.
Yeah.
And it sounded like
We get it. You're
I like
a choice
the cool
of
aspect of it.
You had your moment.
Bitch, I have pronouns, mind you. Excuse you, first of all, Mr. Cis Man. But I did enjoy it a lot.
Sissy.
I thought it was kind of cute. I was
Okay.
kind of it, but I would
Okay.
say that would be my ranking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go do some math, and I will get back to you guys with the results.
Which I evidently don't know how to do.
Right.
So.
Did not realize all the time I was flipping the camera to me. This lighting is actually fucking terrible. But we have results. So in last place with 5 points is Tress of the Emerald Sea. In second place with 7 points is Don't Let the Forest In. Queer friend group is homophobic confirmed.
I put that second.
That was my first.
In third place, Florenzer again
I still don't
hating
get it.
the gays. And then the clean sweep winner with 15 points is Lucky Day, which is what I wanted you guys to do. Yay. Okay, so you guys won. This is gonna be my first read.
We got it right.
Yes. Okay.
Very
I'll be back with thoughts on the book.
Hi guys, this is the part where I take over the vlog. Just to do that. Have a good night. Delete the footage.
Hi everyone. So here's some fun little lore about me. I have not eaten in 64 hours. I have been doing a fast, a beginning of the year fast. Never done one before, but on Christmas Eve, my cousin was talking about how she always does a 3-day fast at the beginning of the year. And I said, fuck it, I'll do it too. Literally, just on a whim, decided I just wasn't gonna eat for 3 days. Safe to say I'm struggling. I am currently making food because I have decided to tap out before the full 72 hours for a variety of reasons, not because I don't really think I can do it. Like, it's not because of that. Like, if I had nothing going on tomorrow, I'd probably just wait, because 1 a.m. would be 72 hours. But I go back to work tomorrow, so I can't, like, I don't want to risk, like, by 1 a.m., hopefully I'll be asleep, because I'd like to get a good night's rest before work tomorrow. But then, like, I don't usually give myself enough more time in the morning to eat breakfast anyway, and I don't eat throughout the day really, ever. Like, that's nothing new. That's just been, like, my usual eating habits. But I don't want to risk, like, obviously I'm going to be hungry as hell tomorrow, and I don't want to, on my first day back to work after break, like, be 3.5 days without eating. Like, I probably won't be at my sharpest, which I'd like to be. But I don't want to risk, like, my body not being able to process the first food I've given it in 3 days, you know? So I'm just gonna have dinner. It won't be exactly 72 hours, but I think for my first fast, at this point it's been 64 hours, so I think that's good. And what's interesting is I thought for sure I would, like, be running to the nearest burger, right? Like, wanting just the slouchiest thing I can think of. But I think because I've, like, not been giving my body nutrition, it's really just craving nutrition. So really what I'm craving more than anything is vegetables, funnily enough. So, I mean, it makes sense, but, so I'm not really surprised, but it's just, like, I guess not what I expected. So I'm making a bean salad. Oh shit. I'm making a bean salad. I have garbanzo beans, cannellini beans, bell peppers, onions, olives, cucumber, some mozzarella balls, dill. I'm gonna make a dressing with oil, red wine vinegar, lemon juice. It'll all be very healthy, and then hopefully my body will handle that better than like something disgusting. Anyway, who cares about any of that? You want to know how my book is going. I last night got through the first 55 pages of Lucky Day. It was like about four chapters. And I don't think it's gonna be 5 stars. And if I was really being serious about all this, I would stop now and choose one of the other books. But like at January 4th at this point, I haven't finished a book yet this year. I'd just like to be reading something and not just going back and forth between a bunch of things. I guess we're gonna find out right now how good my the little fuzzy thing over my mic is canceling background noise because I'm like running water and my ice machine is going. Sorry if there's like a lot of that happening. But yeah, I'm not gonna stop and pick up something else that I think might be 5 stars, because at this point I'm like it's a kind of a short book, so I'm like a quarter of the way through it. And I'm just gonna read it. I don't think it's gonna be 5 stars. I think it'll be 4, but let me tell you why I don't think it will be 5. Okay, well, let me tell you where I'm at, because I'm not any further along in it than like the synopsis tells you, so none of this will really be a spoiler. We're following Vera. She is engaged to a woman named Annie, and she's a probability and statistics professor, and she, in a couple days from where the book starts, is going to be publishing a book. We've gotten through at this point what the book calls the low probability event. So it's what I was talking about earlier in the video. Like there's this one like apocalyptic type scenario that happens where a bunch of very unlikely things happens all in one day across the globe. Millions of people die from this, and it seems from what I'm getting like humanity kind of recovers relatively quickly. It's kind of just like a bunch of people die and there's like damage to cities, but like, you know, the overall societal structure remains intact. And so Vera, as somebody who's spent her life studying probability and statistics, her whole worldview is now like completely rocked. So the low probability event happens, and then it's 4 years later. And so we find Vera 4 years later, like completely, her entire way she looks at the world is shattered. So she's not handling that very well. And then where we're about to get is, again, this is given in the synopsis, so not a spoiler. I didn't continue reading, but that next chapter I'm about to get to starts with like Vera getting a knock on the door. And from the synopsis, what I think that knock on the door is going to be is a CIA agent who is studying or like looking into this casino in Vegas where there are probability shenanigans going on at the casino. And they are going to come to Vera and ask for Vera's help figuring out what's going on, because the agent thinks that this casino is connected to the low probability event. So that's where we're at. All of that sounds very interesting. I'm very excited to get into like how this casino is tying into everything and how this low probability event happened. But what's not working for me is the writing style. Chuck Tingle had the thesaurus out. There were during the low probability event, because we see it all, right? That's how the book, that's like the second chapter of the book is the event. And we see Vera going through it and being affected by it. There were so many adjectives. And I think Chuck Tingle was really trying to add some intensity into the scene with so many descriptors, but I just found it to be overwritten, and it was really taking me out of it. And if that's how the whole book is gonna go, like I just can't connect with that. It like just takes me out of things. So I'm giving it a chance, though. I'm gonna continue giving it a chance because I don't know. Some people may be able to relate to this, but like when you're reading so many books in such succession, like you get used to one writing style, and then when you get back into another book, like you have to adjust to that writing style. So maybe I just need to adjust to it. I'm gonna continue to give it a chance, but it's feeling like a 4 right now. We're gonna see. Anyway, my battery's running low. I'm gonna cut this off. I'll come back to you with another update. I did not get home from work fast enough and the light is fading fast, but I need to tell you about Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. I finished it. I'm giving it a 4 stars, just like I thought I would. Let's start with what I didn't like. So everything I was talking about before about just like the overwritten nature of it, I think was sort of just sequestered to the low probability event, like that scene, because Chuck Tingle was trying to get intensity across, just like I thought. Because the rest of the book I didn't find was really written with that, was overwritten in that way. There were some individual instances of like too many adjectives, you know, but overall I didn't take as much umbrage with the actual writing of the book. It was like just fine. Why I think I'm ending up giving it a 4, a couple of reasons. The characterization was one. I didn't like the characters, but it's not that I didn't like the characters just because like I didn't like them as people. I think I just didn't like the way that they were developed. Like I didn't believe them, I don't think. So the main characters, it continues to be Vera. We follow her. And then it is that agent, the like federal agent that comes in and like recruits her to help him solve what's going on with the low probability event. Like how did that happen? So we're following them. And the agent had his own experience with the low probability event, which is the explained reason for why he behaves the way he does and how he is involved in investigating the low probability event at all. And he's a very uncanny character. Like he is very ridiculous. Like he's a very ridiculous person. And I honestly thought there was going to be some sort of speculative reason, some sort of supernatural reason for him behaving the way he behaves, and it wasn't that. I think we were really just supposed to accept his character and like chalk it up to, well, this is how you would behave in his shoes, having gone through the low probability event. And I just don't believe that. So I couldn't really get my mind around this character, and I was waiting for him to be explained in some way, and he just never really was. And so then by the end of it, I'm like, well, I don't believe this is a person, you know? And then Vera, where we find her before the low probability event is a very self-assured, very successful, very intelligent woman, about to start her professorship at a university teaching probability and statistics, right? And then where she is at the, after the low probability event and throughout the rest of the novel, I do believe that an event of this nature, especially for who she is, would change her incredibly drastically. And that's where she kind of gets her, nihilism. I believe that. But it's not even really that she has kind of given up on life. It's just that I found her to be really, really immature in a way that was not believable to me. I didn't really see a semblance, even a hint of the character we got to know before the low probability event and the character she became after the low probability event and where we find her at the end of the novel. I don't see her from the beginning at all. And which makes sense because obviously an event like this will change you, but she kind of had a petulance about her that I don't think she would have had even suffering a trauma like this. So I didn't like that. And then I think I found that I just need to not read books about math anymore because I start getting too nitpicky. I'm a math teacher, so I love math and I'm drawn to stories like that, but I'm slogging through Catabasis right now, where the magic system and like the way the underworld in that book is explained is through math, specifically geometry. And I always find myself just like wanting more. Like I want it explained more. I want it more detailed. I have so many questions because I have a familiarity with the topic that is inspiring the magic system, the world, all of that. And so I find myself wanting more, and it's just never enough for me. And then here, the like speculative nature of this is rooted in probability and statistics, which I don't have as a familiarity with as I do in geometry. So, but like familiar enough that I have questions, you know? And it's not just like, well, what is this statistics concept? It's like, how do these other statistics concepts and how do these other statistics concepts play into what's going on here? And then also, like, the ones that you've explained that are playing into this, like, shouldn't that mean other things, you know? And so I'm just asking too many questions, and I think when you're writing a book like this where you're not an expert in the topic, like as far as I know, Chuck Tingle is not a mathematician, so he's not an expert in the topic, and he probably had to do a lot of research for this book, and he probably had editors in his ear like, the people that are reading your book are not, the majority of people are not going to be math experts, so you can kind of do sort of a surface level explanation of these things just as they relate to the immediate story, and that's good enough, and it's not good enough for me. So those were my issues. Why am I not giving it less than a 4? Because despite not loving the writing and despite not loving the characters, I thought this was so imaginative, so creative, and so fun. Like, I just had a good time, and I really didn't find myself wanting to be doing anything else but reading this. It took me a while to read just because I had other life things going on. It's, what's the date? The 11th, the 12th? It's the 12th, and so it took me like 10 days to read this. But when I was reading it, I wasn't like wanting to put it down, and when I had free time, I wanted to be picking this up. So I had a really good time, and it is really fun, and the way that, like, the events that Chuck Tingle comes up with are so, like, they're gnarly for sure, and they, like, if you have if you have any sort of queasiness about you, like, you may even like be gagging at parts, but they're just imaginative. And the way that, like, he weaves some of these things together, like where Vera ends up finding herself because of the like low probability nature of the events that unfold, they unfold in such a way that, like, it's almost as if fate is telling Vera to, like, go fuck herself. The things that, like, are, like, thrown in her face. And, like, in any other story, it's like, well, that would never happen. But in this story, that would never happen of it all would absolutely happen, because that's the idea behind the situation. It's low probability things. So it's just, like, really funny. It's humorous. And it's just a good time seeing all of these completely wacky things happening, but are still believable within the bounds of the story. So I really, really enjoyed that nature of it. It's not without its flaws for sure. I have to give it just a 4, but I still think this was a good first read because it's something I wanted to be reading and something I had a good time with. So that's my first book of the year. Thank you for following this journey with me. Thank you to my friends who helped me choose this book. And thank you guys for watching. Did I say that already? Thanks again, if I already did. I will catch you in the next video. I guess my wrap-up, my 2025 wrap-up needs to happen at some point. But those just take so long. They take so long to do, and I just can't find a minute to do it. So before, like, obviously before January, for sure, that's going to come out. But this is going to come out first. So anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye!